Hi there, welcome to my channel. This video makes me look a little tanned because I've got the moon phases app going on here. And speaking of the moon phases, because the moon is considered to be a feminine, the energy that it carries is very feminine. Women's cycles are very much connected to the cycles of the moon, and we don't have to get into details about that, but these are all scientific facts. In regards to a topic that I was asked to talk about a little bit here, we're going to speak about the Amazons. So those Amazonian warriors and Amazonian goddesses that you may have heard of in mythologies, but are actually very real, as they have found skeletons of these Amazonian queens with... Okay, so it's been said that the Amazons originate from the Black Sea region. And they were, considered to be Scythian in origins. And they basically took over the Caucasus region, Asia Minor, and the Black Sea region in general, okay? From the Balkans to Armenia. Basically, they took over like the region of Armenia. They conquered Armenia, Syria, and all of Asia Minor. Okay, so it's interesting because whoever has known me throughout the time, they always said I never fit anywhere except being like an Amazonian. I've always, whoever has known me, which is so fascinating. So the goddess Hekate is actually considered an Amazonian, okay, an Amazon, female Amazon. So the Amazons were female fighters, okay, warriors. Some of them conceived children. If they had a daughter, they would keep the daughter and have the daughter fight with them and learn how to fight from a young age. And if they had a boy, the boy would just go off somewhere else, just not with her. They were very pro-feminine in a sense that they were just very passionate in being extremely independent. And some people say it's a mythology, it never existed, there were never female fighters, but yet there are so much archaeological evidence with female skulls in these regions with their white. So again, the goddess Hekate is considered an Amazon, okay? And I want to read something here by a famous medieval traveler named John Mandeville, and he mentions them in his book. Beside the land of Chaldea is the land of Amazonia. That is the land of Femini, which is interesting because the word Femini is symbolic of feminine, right? The word is very similar to feminine. And in that realm is all women and no man. Not as some may say that men may not live there, but because that the women will not suffer, no men amongst them to be their sovereigns. Medieval and Renaissance authors credit the Amazons with the invention of the battle axe. Now this strikes a huge chord with obviously masculine. So I was saying here, this is probably related to the sagurus, an axe-like weapon associated with both Amazons and Scythian tribes by Greek authors. Paulos Hector Mayer expresses astonishment that such a manly weapon, it's written quote unquote, should have been invented by a tribe of women, but he accepts the attribution out of respect for his authority. Here's the thing. They've done like psychological testings and on women, on majority of women and majority of men. And if they have a choice between killing someone with a knife, a dagger, or a gun, women have chosen and axes, they have chosen sharp objects over knives, over guns, excuse me. So a woman, so a majority of women have actually chosen, if they were gonna kill someone, specifically a man, they would choose an object that is sharp and that can cut through the heart or the skin, or cut that's body parts. Rather, men would prefer a gun. I didn't do the psychological test. These are statistics, okay? Okay, so let's kind of get into the whole origin of the name of Amazon. The origin of the word is uncertain. It may be derived from the Iranian ethnonym Hamazan, which means warriors. A word attested indirectly through a derivation, a denominal verb in Hesychius of Alexandria's gloss. Hamaskaran. Sounds like Hamaskarin. Hamaskarain. To make war in Persian, where it appears together with the Indo-Iranian root kar, as in make. What's interesting is a lot of the words that are Iranian are very Armenian as well, such as our last names. Yan is its Iranian origins. Okay, then it's also written here that it may also be Greek, descended from the word manless, without husbands. Yes. Okay, the rest of this is not important. They just basically say like majority of it is Iranian, whatever. As the Scythians were like old Iranian tribes or whatever, but Indo-Aryan, okay, the word Aryan, the Aryan race, which the world thinks it means the white race, it doesn't actually mean the right, that's not correct, that's incorrect. Aryan, first of all, Arya is Iran. Iran is the old name for Aryan, the Aryan people, Iran, okay? So when they became the Persian Empire, they went and it collapsed, Iran. So the interesting part here is it's also like they also found archaeological evidence on their through their bones that they were heavily tattooed, these females, and they just slept with their daggers. They owned horses, which is interesting because I've always had a love of horses. I have horse statues everywhere. My moon is in Sagittarius. I'm dominant Sagittarius sign. It's funny, and it's as if like the patriarch has tried to just rip off the concept of women that just don't get married or don't want to get married or just don't want to be owned. You know what? I'm actually a firm believer that humans are not all equal, because there is a concept that equal rights, so on and so forth, right? Which doesn't actually exist, but not in the real world. But to say that we are all equals is not very true. To say that we are all the same, that is absolutely not true at all either. To be able to normalize certain matters with men and women, but then kind of push away other kinds of women or men is also not really correct either. So I guess this world is very diverse. There's so many different types of strengths and weaknesses out there, physical to emotional to spiritual to energetic, and it's like, I guess we're at an age where hopefully people will start to find themselves. So apparently there isn't any like real evidences and written evidences of how they actually were, like in regards to how their lifestyle was, like if they hated men, if they loved men, whatever. But they have been known by some people, or some people like like people that would like look into them as like, oh, they hated men, they were lesbians. But according to the Greeks, they didn't view them as lesbians at all, but they described the Amazonian females as the fighters, as lovers of men, actually, and that they would kill them out of love. Which would make a lot of sense, because it's like, go hard or go home, you know? All right, I decided to make a home salad here, homemade salad with no lettuce. There's cucumbers, mushrooms, parsley, oregano, ginger, green onions, avocados, black pepper, lemon, a little bit of dressing oil, just simple, very simple olive oil dressing. And this one, it's not thyme. It's kind of bitter. I forget the name right now, but if you want to heal your heart chakra, guys, get back into your greens. If you want to tune into your intuition, you gotta clear your lungs out and clear your heart. So